Welcome to this session of Q Talks. Q Talks are a series of informative and topical webinars run by leading experts from quality compliance systems. I'm David Constantine, Chief Technical Officer and Data Protection Officer for Quality Compliance Systems. We've created a series of webinars dedicated to simplifying the complexities of the General Data Protection Regulation and to help you ensure your organisation is GDPR compliant. This is the first in the series covering what are the basics of GDPR. GDPR replaces the Data Protection Act 1998 and is the first time data protection law has been updated in the UK in around 20 years. It originally took around 15 years for the Data Protection Act to be finalised. Many people believe that replacement of the Data Protection Act with laws that reflect modern day sharing of personal data is long overdue. Brexit won't affect GDPR in any meaningful way. It might mean some of the wording needs to change, but GDPR will come into force regardless of whether the UK leaves the EU or not. The regulation was ratified on the 25th of May 2016 with a 2-year lead-in period. As a result, GDPR comes into force at midnight at the start of the 25th of May 2018. The Information Commissioner's Office, which is more commonly known as the ICO, is the body that currently governs compliance with the Data Protection Act and will continue to do so with GDPR. They are able to issue fines for non-compliance, and with the Data Protection Act, the maximum fine that the ICO could issue was £500,000. Under GDPR, there are 2 levels of fine that depend on the type of breach, and in both cases the penalties are significant. The first type of breach can broadly be categorised as administrative breaches that don't have a direct effect on an individual. These might include failure to report a breach or failure to appoint a data protection officer. The maximum fine that can be issued by the ICO for this type of breach is €10 million or 2% of worldwide turnover of the organisation, whichever is higher. The second type of breach that can apply are those that affect the data subject, such as a failure to comply with a subject access request or failure to obtain appropriate consent to processing of a person's personal data. The fine that applies here is higher and can be up to €20 million or 4% of worldwide turnover of the organisation, again whichever is higher. As well as being able to impose fines, the ICO may decide to conduct audits of an organisation that has breached GDPR, issue warnings and reprimands, and impose limitations and restrictions around that organisation's ability to process personal data. So, there you have it, the basics of GDPR. Thank you for listening.